You can buy all sorts of things. Weapons, drugs, humans, allegedly. Bitcoin.
Is it you, then?
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
There's a Ponzi scheme.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie and today we are back with another
Dun Dun
Mukbang! Woo! Guys, I'm so freaking excited because today we are eating spicy cheese ramen and I don't know why I'm so excited. I've been eating ramen all freaking week for at least one meal a day, but this, I haven't had spicy cheese ramen and I want to say like 4 full days. So I'm super excited, and on my left side, I've got freezer-friendly Pulu Mon. It's like a Korean cheese corn dog. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. I got it on Amazon because I was missing cheese corn dogs. So here we go. Let's get started. Okay,
Oh, man.
I'm gonna start with the ramen. Wow, this one's actually super spicy.
Oh, why?
I don't know. They just made it so spicy.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this the cheesy one?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Hey, you okay?
Oh my god.
Bro.
It's so spicy.
Really?
Yeah. Why is it like nuclear status? Oh my gosh. It's so good, but it's so spicy.
Wow. Bro, you okay?
Yeah. It's good.
These are from the freezer. You microwave it, and then you air fry it. Wow.
How's it?
It's good. Wow, it's pretty good. Oh my gosh.
These are good. I like these more than the store-bought. Oh my god, this is so good.
The ramen's good.
I really like the cheese.
I feel like there's less dough though.
I
Because
like
sometimes like the ones that you buy from the store, they have so much dough and like the first bite, like the top is all dough. Holy cow, it's so spicy though. Oh my goodness. Today's topic is going to be very interesting. Literally, no one requested this, but I didn't know that there was such a deep, intense mystery when it comes down to this. I thought that the biggest mystery when it comes to Bitcoin is what is Bitcoin, because it took me so long to understand Bitcoin. So I'm just going to break it down in layman's terms because that's all I know how to do, and I barely know Bitcoin, so I'm sure a lot of you guys know a lot more about Bitcoin than I do. I'm sure my fiance knows a lot more, but this is not about
Can
Bitcoin.
we ask Dan? Because I think Dan knows too. Give us a lesson, Dan. Wow, these corn dogs are so good.
Really?
Bitcoin is basically like an online money, but there's only a limited amount of money. Bitcoin is same comparison to a gold.
Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. Now, it is a form of currency just like gold, silver, or dollar bills, bits, right? Or won. These are all types of currencies. Bitcoin was one of the first successful cryptocurrencies, and the reason that people created, well, one person in particular that nobody has any idea of. Let's say you create something that's worth billions of dollars. You usually take credit for it. Facebook has a founder, Google has a founder, Elon Musk has Tesla and SpaceX. Why did I just name him? You usually take credit for it. People want you to give seminars. People want to interview you for Business Insider. They want to do all of these things. Your name is on Forbes magazine for billionaires. Now, what's interesting is that one of the first successful cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, the founder is a complete mystery. Yes, they have a name, Satoshi Nakamoto, but that's not their real name. It's a fictional name. So no one in the world knows who created Bitcoin. Now, why does this matter? Because the creator of Bitcoin is sitting on around 1 million Bitcoins and they have yet to sell. They are sitting on currently valued at $6.9 billion worth of Bitcoin that they are not selling. Why? Why are they not selling it? No one knows. Are they dead? Are they alive? Do they not care about their coins? Like, what's going on? Do they want the prices to go up before they sell? Nobody has any idea. Because the thing with Bitcoin is you can own them, but until you sell them, you have no money in your bank. Until you use them to buy something, you are still living your regular life. So you're talking about a man who created Bitcoin. We're assuming he's a man who created Bitcoin. Okay, not because we're sexist, but because there's a lot of clues saying that he's a man that created Bitcoin, but isn't selling any of them. There's only one transfer to another developer early on of 1 Bitcoin out of the 1 million pre-mined, and it doesn't make sense. So in order to understand this great mystery of internet time, I mean, there are hackers who have been trying to hack into Satoshi Nakamoto's email address. One of them was successful. There are people who are trying to trace him down for a lot of different reasons. At one point, the CIA wanted to talk to him. It's just kind of the weirdest mystery of why this man refuses to come out to the public, write a book, freaking accept a Nobel Peace Prize. Some people wanted him to get a Nobel Prize for something. It's just insane. It doesn't make any sense. If he were to come out and share his knowledge, he might even help the cryptocurrency world even more. So Bitcoin, the way that it works is it's kind of like gold in the sense that you can't print more of it. Whereas when it comes to like dollars or other currencies around the world, you can just print more, and that's what causes inflation. With Bitcoin, you can only have 21 million Bitcoin forever in the history of the world. You can never make a new Bitcoin. It doesn't work like that. Because of that, everything has a pretty much fixed value. It's not going to go down in price just because someone's creating more Bitcoin for their own selfish reasons. And the reason that Bitcoin was created was because let's say you have a wad of cash in your room. But let's say you don't want to go to the market and spend all that cash on groceries. Maybe you want to buy something online. How do you do that? You go to the bank, you put it into the bank, you go online with your credit card that the bank gave you, type in the numbers. This merchandiser will now connect to the bank and make sure you have the funds, take it out of the bank, and then ship you that thing. So technically, you don't really have any privacy. Technically, if we lived in a scary world where the government did have access to all of this, they could have access to everything you buy. A lot of people get caught for crimes because they fucking buy sledgehammers online and it ships to their house. And the government's like, I saw you bought a gun or a sledgehammer online, bro. What you doing? And so Bitcoin is all about privacy and security, which takes away power from the government. They said if the government doesn't, and it's not because they want you to commit crimes, they just value privacy. And so that's why Bitcoin was created. The theories are very interesting. Now, again, it comes down to, listen, if you don't even care about Bitcoin, why would you care about the person who created Bitcoin? And why would you care about the fact that he's a billionaire? Nobody gives a shit about billionaires. The thing is, it's kind of intriguing when you think about it. Let's say that you have the opportunity overnight, not overnight because you put in work, but like right now, overnight become somebody who has X amount of money, whatever money you have right now, to gaining $6.9 billion in your bank account. Legally, would you do it? Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't make sense why he's not doing it. And at one point, Bitcoin was worth $20,000 a Bitcoin. Right now, it's worth about $6,900, and he has over 1 million. But if he sold when it hit $20,000 at Bitcoin,
Yeah.
I can't even process that number.
Yeah, that's like 3 times of
Yeah.
that. 6.97 times 3 is $21 billion.
Yeah.
21 billion?
Yeah.
He could have made,
Wow.
So no one understands it. So obviously the internet has come up with theories. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of the theories first, and then we're going to go into the history of Bitcoin, because actually there's a lot of suspicious shit that happened with Bitcoin that I never knew about. And then we're going to go back and you guys tell me which theory you think is the most plausible.
Is it you then?
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto? There's a lot of stories with Bitcoin. Now, the first one being that you can lose Bitcoin keys. Now, this is very important. It took me so long to wrap my head around. The first theory is that Satoshi Nakamoto lost his wallet, and he lost his keys to his Bitcoin, which means technically they could be lost forever. Now, what that means is for every Bitcoin, every one of the 21 million Bitcoin, every single one, they have a public key and they have a private key. Now, the private key consists of, I think, 256 different characters or letters, right, that make up access to this Bitcoin. And most of the time, it's not something you can memorize. It's not like, hi, welcome to your debit card, please put in your PIN number. It's like, this is already a generated 250 something letter character thing that you usually have encrypted on your computer if you're smart, which means that no one can just have access to it. It's not in your freaking notes or your Gmail, right? Or it means that some people, they take the action of physically writing it down on a notebook somewhere safe. You cannot lose access to it. Otherwise, you are losing that one Bitcoin access, which is right now $7,000 you're losing because you lost this, string of 250 something characters. Yeah. And so the first thing is maybe he lost his early keys.
That's
and
what
that's
I heard
why
too.
He can't cash in. But you're talking about someone who went through the trouble of pre-mining 1 million Bitcoin. You were talking about someone who created Bitcoin. You were talking about someone who finally, there are so many geniuses prior to him that tried making a cryptocurrency and failed and failed and failed. And he was successful. It doesn't make sense. He doesn't sound like the type that's like Stephanie. That's like, I don't know where it went. I thought I had it here and now it's not here. And I'm so confused. He doesn't sound like that. He sounds like, if anything, he would have so many places he would have hidden those keys.
I heard he lost it in the trash, and then somebody went through the whole. Is that the
No,
theory?
that's not him. So that's actually a story that went viral of a guy who threw away his hard disk. He had a hard disk with the encrypted codes for 7,500 Bitcoin, and when he realized he had threw it away, it was already in the landfill somewhere, and at the time he realized it, it was worth $7.5 million. But get this,
Right
now it's worth $54 million.
And it was just chilling in the landfill. I think they hire a bunch of people to dig for days and days and days.
That's crazy. But I'm pretty sure it's broken by then.
No, all they need is the number to get in.
Really?
If they found it, they could have gotten money.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one could find it yet. Isn't that crazy?
They're still digging right now?
Nah.
Yeah, probably not.
You should go though.
So this Bitcoin, you can use it right now online to buy something? Or not?
Yeah, there's a lot of people accept it.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but I know you can sell it and get cash or keep it, hope it rises. I had to take off my headband. Sorry, I need to eat more freely, you know?
I know someone does business straight up with Bitcoin. Not illegally. But he has like tens of millions in Bitcoin right now.
All I know is I've seen some dudes in Lambos talk about it, seen a bald guy yell BitConnect.
Do you know what I mean?
BitConnect?
BitConnect!
Isn't that another coin?
It's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme.
I know some companies like make fake coins, and then after people invest it,
Yeah.
they just take everything out.
That's so fucked up. I actually want to take you guys back to the starting of Bitcoin for you guys to understand the theories. I thought maybe I'd start with the theories, but then you'd probably be wondering why the CIA is looking for him, okay? So we have to take it all the way back. It actually starts in the 1980s with a guy by the name of, I think his name was David Chaum. And he has nothing to do with Bitcoin, but he was one of the first founders of a company called DigiCash. And he lived in San Francisco, and he was obsessed with the idea of cryptocurrency. He really wanted to create a platform where you could anonymously purchase things on the internet. And there's actually a huge group of people, they're called cypherpunks. So back in the day, in the 80s, they used to mainly only communicate via email. So they would have this huge email list, and they would send out like 5 emails a day talking about updates on cryptocurrency, updates on, cybersecurity. And their main thing was that they wanted every individual in the world to at least understand that their privacy and all of their internet stuff was being sold. And so at the time, it was so difficult. Their goal was so difficult because most of the time, people didn't even have computers in the house. They would go to the public library or like a computer room and use those computers. So how do you get these people who don't even have their own personal computer invested in protecting their online security? You can't. But that group, they had a strong cult following, and not like an actual cult, but like you get it, the terms. And it seems like the hotspots in North America were in California, probably all like near San Francisco. Lots of people were in the cyberpunks there, and then there was New York, and then one other place on the East Coast. And so a lot of people were invested in this group. Now this group becomes important because Mr. Satoshi Nakamoto reaches out to this group for help. So time passes, and it seems like coding and all of this developing did not start for Bitcoin until around 2007 is what I heard. And after he already started Bitcoin, and he already pre-mined 1 million Bitcoin. So the term mining is it's not like you just create Bitcoin and it's just all there in a stash. You actually have to mine for it.
You have to solve problems too.
Yeah, and there's only
get it.
21 million. And so about 1 million has already been mined at this point, right? And he reaches out to the cypherpunks. He writes what's called a white paper, and he labeled it a white paper. White paper is usually a document. They use this term in the UK. Like, I guess in the US, you'd maybe call it a proposal, right? But he wrote this white paper saying that, hey, this is a problem, and I have the solution, and the solution could be Bitcoin if you guys want to work on it with me. And now, mind you, cypherpunks is not just like a little group, right? It's not a bunch of Stephanie Sues. It's a bunch of intelligent people who probably know how to code. There's a lot of developers there. There's a lot of smart people. Like, why would you sign up for this email list? It's just gonna spam your email with shit that you don't care about unless you are smart, intelligent, and invested in it, okay?
Yeah.
Like, I would never sign up for that group, okay? And so he emails them. The first things that you notice about his email was that there was a lot of words that were written in the British language. So, in analyze, the word analyze, in America, you spell it with a Z at the end, right? In Britain, the UK, you spell it with an S. Same with organize.
Organized.
Yeah, they spell it with an S instead of a Z. Kind of seemed like, oh, does this person have, like, are they from the UK?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Nothing else was spelled incorrectly on the entire thing. So it didn't seem like maybe they are just kind of stupid, right? And so that was the first thing you notice. And the second thing that you notice is that after every single period, there's a double space. It's not just one space, it's a double space. And there's two things that could cause that. Certain types of academics, in academic formats, you have to double space after a period. Or if you learn to type on a typewriter, because that means you have to double space. After a period, you have to click the space bar twice. And these things are very important because double spacing after a period is not a choice, it's typically muscle memory. Just like it's muscle memory to do one space
Or
after
you're
a
drunk,
period.
you know, sometimes
Double space.
Yeah.
And so the entire thing was written in that type of language, that type of format, and it was incredibly formal, and you could tell that this person is very, very smart. And so he writes this white paper and he says, listen, I've already started this project. I'm looking for developers to help me. I'm not going to pay you. You can make money on the process by mining your own Bitcoin. And I really have hope in this. Now, immediately, most of the group was very skeptical because they get white papers all the time, usually from noobs who have no idea what they're talking about. They're like, I'm going to create $1 billion cryptocurrency and become the richest man that ever existed. And they're like, oh yeah, so how are you going to do that? And they're like, I'm going to get a computer first and then log on to the internet and, type in gmail.com and try to email you guys about it, right? So it's like usually lots of noobs who want to do something but have no experience, which sounds really bad to say, but was pretty much useless to the group because they're all about creating all this software to help with cybersecurity and cryptography. And so when he emailed the list, everybody felt like he was just one of those noobs, except for a man by the name of Hal Finley. Now, Hal Finley was a software developer and he decided, you know what, I'm going to jump right in. And so he started communicating with Satoshi Nakamoto and they started mining together and he started developing Bitcoin with him. And he was one of the first people that consistently worked with Mr. Satoshi and he made quite a bit of money mining Bitcoin from the early days. That was the only transfer of Bitcoin that you see from the 1 million, little over a million untouched Bitcoin that was mined prior to all of this.
He sent one to him?
To Hal Finley.
Wow.
And that was it.
Wait, where's Hal Finley? Still here?
Yeah, Los Angeles. He lives in Los Angeles.
Are you serious?
He's just chilling. I'm sure he does other stuff, but he's much older. He's just chilling, I think. I mean, I don't know, Hal, what you doing? And so that was like the first Bitcoin that was sent. They start mining this and it starts going really well. But again, it's still Bitcoin. I recently heard of Bitcoin maybe a couple years ago. No one really heard about it. It wasn't a well-known word. It's not a household name until 2010. So at this point, Bitcoin was up and running. You had a bunch of people trying to mine. You had forums of dedicated cryptographers that were talking about it, that were purchasing Bitcoin, that were talking about all of the things, like the questions that you would ask when you first start or hear about, cryptocurrency, which is, well, what happens to the people who lose their keys? Wouldn't that just mean that there's going to be lots of unusable Bitcoin in the future? Satoshi Nakamoto even commented to someone on a thread saying, well, actually, then you would say that that's a contribution to everybody else's Bitcoin, because the less Bitcoin on the market, the higher your value of a Bitcoin is. And so that kind of goes against the theory of him losing his own keys, if he sounds like he's that determined. In 2010, something very important happened, which then thrust Bitcoin into a household name, and it's WikiLeaks. So WikiLeaks, if you guys don't know, is an organization that leaked a lot of high clearance, high security documents that the government did not want the people to know. And so, in 2010, WikiLeaks was the government's #1 target, you may say, and that created a very big issue for WikiLeaks. Not just for a lot of the people's safety in that organization, I'm sure, but also for the fact that WikiLeaks was not a profitable company. They were funded by the people, and they accepted donations. Now, what happens when you become the target of a government agency? No payment system wants to work with you. PayPal doesn't want to work with you. I don't know, I wanted to say ShopBop or whatever. Whatever. No one wants to work with you, okay? Because even if they like what you're doing, they don't want to become a target of the government, okay?
Yeah.
That's company suicide to some people. And so WikiLeaks was like, what do? We need more funding. What do we do? And some journalists for the New York Times said, why don't they use cryptocurrency because it's anonymous? And so suddenly there was articles popping up of how WikiLeaks might use Bitcoin. WikiLeaks and Bitcoin save each other. There were so many articles, and so that got people thinking, thinking, what the hell is Bitcoin?
Yeah.
And so they started reading about Bitcoin and they're like, oh shoot, that's so crazy. And so that's when Bitcoin really became a household name. But what's interesting is Satoshi Nakamoto was against the idea. And he actually begged WikiLeaks to not use Bitcoin.
Damn.
Because he said, right now, a government target on us would kill us at the stage that we're in.
Damn.
And we're doing a lot. We're doing well. We don't need them. We just need steady growth.
Dang. He actually
Smart
came
guy.
out and say that.
Yeah. So he was emailing the cypherpunks saying, like, let's not try to spread this more. Let's not try to encourage it. I personally, I mean, he can't choose because it's not like a bank where he's the CEO, but it's just kind of like, please, like, I don't think it's a good idea. And I created it. I mean, if that means anything to you guys. Around this time, Satoshi Nakamoto also handed over control of Bitcoin as the founder to Gavin Anderson, who is someone who did lots of public speaking for Bitcoin, lots of stuff like that. It's very interesting because around this time that WikiLeaks and all of this was happening, not too long after, Bitcoin started being widely used on a website called the Silk Road.
Dark web.
On the dark web, where you can buy all sorts of things, weapons, drugs, humans, allegedly. The Silk Road is shut down as of right now. Bitcoin at that point was being widely used because, again, it's a cryptocurrency. It's an anonymous transaction that can be verified. So obviously criminals don't want to get scammed. So it's a verifiable currency, but the banks don't know about it. The government can't track it.
Yeah.
And so they started using Bitcoin. Satoshi Nakamoto hated this. Gavin Anderson also did lots of speeches, you know, kind of pumping up Bitcoin, saying this is an amazing cryptocurrency. And one of the appeals that he took was the fact that the founder was a mysterious man. Who created Bitcoin? We don't know. And he kind of played off of that to the point where in April of 2011, Satoshi Nakamoto, his last known email was to Gavin Anderson saying, please do not make me seem like this shadowy, mysterious figure. It just further perpetuates the idea that only dark, mysterious people use Bitcoin. It's not like that. It's not a currency for criminals. And he was saying, why don't you just shine some more light on the developers? Then the developers will be more motivated.
Damn, that's so true. Wow.
And that was the last known email in 2011. So where did he go after this? He completely disappeared. Right after that email was sent, Gavin Anderson responded to Satoshi Nakamoto saying, hey, also, I know you're probably not down for this, but the CIA reached out and they wanted me to ask you if you wanted to speak at a conference held by the CIA. And Satoshi Nakamoto never responded again. And so there are many, many, many theories of where this man might be right now. And there's also allegedly lots of people who people believe are Satoshi Nakamoto. The first theory is that Satoshi Nakamoto is, yes, he is alive, he is well, but he's waiting for the right time. Because if his cryptocurrency goes from $0 to even the high price of $20,000 per one Bitcoin, there's gonna be a day where it might be more.
He's waiting for the day that all the coins are mined.
Yes. And so he's waiting for
coming
a
soon.
very big profitable day where he will max out in the profit. Now, why would he want to do that? And can someone even be capable of doing that? You might say, hey, if you take a look at Stephanie, no, she's very impulse driven. If she was in the marshmallow test, she'd eat the fucking marshmallow. But with Satoshi Nakamoto, he seems like literally the poster child of patient and intelligent and someone who waits and doesn't get excited over frivolous things like money. He seems like the type that's playing the long game. And so some people think, just you wait. He's just waiting until it hits the new high. And some people are arguing, but what if the new high was $20,000 and he missed it? And now he's upset and now he can't do it because it has to go past 20, otherwise he'll hate himself for it. And so there's a lot of debate about that. The second theory, is that he lost his keys. Now this one I believe is less believable for me, just because he doesn't seem like the type that's like saying Elon Musk lost the keys to his Tesla. Like, it's just like, I don't know if the dude would do that, and if he did, I feel like he'd find a way to get it back. He doesn't seem like the dude that's like, fuck, where are my keys? You know, I feel like he'd develop a software to like make his key ring and then suddenly install it to the rest of the cars.
He built a freaking spaceship to Mars and be like, fuck, I forgot the code to get into this spaceship.
Where'd I put that code? You know, it just doesn't sound like it would happen. It sounds like maybe like a comical movie, but it doesn't sound like real life. And so lots of people think like, no, I don't think he lost his keys. But then some people are like, what if he lost his keys? And that's a really good way to make you so insane to commit suicide. Because that's a theory. Some people think he committed suicide. And the third theory is what you were saying. is he waiting for all of the coins to be mined. And the reason is because once the coins are mined, apparently the market will become a lot more stable. What's interesting about Bitcoin is that even if Satoshi Nakamoto sells 20 Bitcoin, you will know that it's Satoshi Nakamoto because you know exactly which Bitcoins were sold. And we know exactly which ones are allegedly held by Satoshi Nakamoto because they have been unused since conception prior to everybody else's Bitcoin. And he's worried that that would cause a panic sell, which would then devalue the rest of his Bitcoins. So if he sells at $7,000 and people start realizing the founder is starting to sell his own Bitcoin, then they panic sell and suddenly his other Bitcoin, like 900,000 of them, are worth less. People are saying that he's worried about that and that he's just waiting for a good time to not cause too much panic, for the cryptocurrency world to be mature enough that him selling his Bitcoin wouldn't cause mass panic. And also people are saying that if he were to sell his own Bitcoin, even non-Bitcoin cryptocurrency like equal something, Ethereum, yes, Ethereum would get devalued too, because it's not just company versus company, it's like the whole tech world goes down, or like the whole cryptocurrency world goes down. And so he's waiting for that maturity point. The other theory is that he doesn't care to be rich, or that he already is rich. Now, there's a few things that suggest against both of these. The theory that he doesn't care to be rich would go against the fact that he pre-mined a bunch of Bitcoin. Why would you pre-mine a bunch of Bitcoin unless you were saving them for yourself? But also, nobody would be mad if you created this thing and made a bunch of money off of it. You created it for other people. Who cares? You mined them yourself. It's not like people would get upset. But some people think that he just believes in the greater message. And him not using his Bitcoin actually creates more value for the rest of the Bitcoin, like if he doesn't sell it. And so some people think that he's just taken a solid for the Bitcoin community. But it's really hard to believe that Satoshi Nakamoto is a Batman, right? And then the second theory is that he's already loaded. Maybe it's Elon Musk, dude. Maybe it's already a billionaire who doesn't need his freaking Bitcoin. He's so busy running his own...
Elon Musk needs a lot of money right now. He's constantly raising money, so...
You know, what if it's like someone who is so busy running their multi-billion-dollar company that they founded that like they're not even thinking about their Bitcoin that they made just for shits and giggles not too long ago, right? But some theories would suggest against that because he wrote a lot of emails asking his developers to check on different processors of computers because he had a really old version.
Aww.
So he didn't even have the newest software of computer
sad.
as he was mining, you know? If you do this full time and you're already wealthy, you would think that you'd probably have the newest updated, like, super intense computer.
It does take crazy computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that kind of goes against the fact that he's already so rich.
That's weird.
Weird, right? And the next theory is that he is already dead. So whether it was suicide or whatever it is, he's already dead. Because you are talking about a cryptocurrency that, okay, let's just think coincidences. Let's say there was a fatal car accident. Maybe it was cancer. Maybe it was old age because who knows? Maybe he was a lot older than he told everybody he was.
How old did he say?
He said like 30s or something at the time. So
Oh,
like maybe
what?
like 50s now. Maybe he's a lot older than that because the double space. What if he learned to write on a typewriter? That would make him a lot older than he says he is. What if he's dead? Or what if there was some bad things that happened? Whether it was government agencies that went after him, or you're talking about a cryptocurrency that was widely used on the dark web, and maybe they thought, hey, this guy is worth billions of dollars and he doesn't have protection. Because technically you might think that Elon Musk is dangerous because, hey, he's a high target. Everybody knows what he looks like and that he's worth a lot. But what's even scarier is someone who could be worth a lot, has the keys to the kingdom, nobody knows who you are, and you don't have the money for intense security that I'm sure Elon Musk has. So some people think maybe something really bad happened and he didn't give up his keys and he was eventually murdered. The next theory is he's scared to use it. Now, this is a very interesting theory because I'm going to tell you a story about Dorian Nakamoto. Dorian Nakamoto resides in Los Angeles. He lives a couple houses down from Hal Finney. There was a journalist who saw Dorian Nakamoto. By the way, his middle name, I believe, is Satoshi. So it's Dorian Satoshi Nakamoto. Lives a couple houses down from Hal Finley. He was caught in a public area doing some sort of weird coding on his computer. A journalist saw it, and he looks like the picture of who you would imagine is Satoshi Nakamoto. He looks like a very old Japanese man, okay? Which I'm sure you are picturing that in your head for the Satoshi Nakamoto, right? And so the journalist is like, what are you working on? Already thinking about, is this the Bitcoin? You know, did I just crack the code? Is this a Bitcoin founder? And he goes, oh, it's kind of a secret project. And her eyes widen.
This is like everything is too like
yeah.
black
And so
and
she
white.
runs home and she starts writing a piece and she posts it and it causes Twitter to go insane. And Twitter creates the hashtag Bitcoin Chase. And they harassed the shit out of Dorian Nakamoto nonstop. He was in press interviews where he's like, I don't know anything about Bitcoin. I don't know anything about Bitcoin. Later we find out that he is a software engineer and his secret project was a work for hire that he was doing for Citigroup. The last ever communication since that email that Satoshi Nakamoto sent to Gavin Anderson about the dark web using Bitcoin was he posted on a thread under his typical username that says, I am not Dorian Nakamoto.
Wait. He changed the name?
No, he just posted it. I am not Dorian Nakamoto.
The owner?
Oh.
Yeah, Satoshi Nakamoto posted it.
Like after that happened?
After Dorian was nonstop harassed. And we find out that Dorian Nakamoto, the one who coincidentally lived a couple houses down from Hal Finley, doesn't have any experience in cryptography, doesn't have any experience in cryptocurrency.
The coincidence, though, is
And
kind
so
of weird.
he posted that. And then a member of the thread posted on the thread that they got an email from Satoshi Nakamoto's old email address that he constantly used. And he said, it's been compromised. The email has obviously been hacked. And they said, look, I don't even know if he's the one that posted on the thread recently. And he was referring to the I am not Dorian Nakamoto.
Jesus.
And then everyone goes onto the thread and they scroll to find it. But they realized, wait a second, Satoshi Nakamoto posted something else under his user account that he always used to post from. I'm gonna grab my phone and read it to you guys because I want it every single word. It's from September 8th, 2014. Dear Satoshi, your docs, passwords, IP addresses are being sold on the dark web. You didn't configure Tor properly when you used your email sometime in 2010 and they found you. You need to get out of where you are ASAP before these people harm you. Thank you for inventing Bitcoin. And that was posted from Satoshi's own account.
Oh my god. That is a freaking crazy.
But it seems like no one was able to, again, hack into the keys somehow, and his Bitcoin are still sitting untouched. That was in 2014.
Oh, then I feel like he's probably...
You're like, he's dead.
Dang.
And so no one knows where he is, and every time Bitcoin is on the news comes the question, is Satoshi Nakamoto alive, and will he ever sell?
Wow.
Wow.
What do you think?
I guess I gotta sell now.
No.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of scary. Yeah.
I think he's waiting.
You think he's just chilling?
Like just chilling.
Seems like he's a really good guy.
Yeah.
That want to do something innovative, and the dark web got to him.
And you said his name is fake, right? So no one will know who he is.
No one knows, like there's guesses. Some people think the UK because of the way he spells things, but some people are like, you're talking about a pretty smart dude. The easiest way to throw people off is to pretend you have a British accent, you know? Then you might think, oh, maybe he's in Japan or he's a Japanese American. But watch him not be.
Yeah.
You know? So it's very interesting.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. So let me know in the comments what you think happened to Satoshi Nakamoto. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.